Hello, today's podcast I'm calling Knowledge is Key. The reason I start with knowledge is key is because in any walk of life, whatever you do, to have the knowledge gives you a good basis on making your decisions. Now, making your decision when arranging a funeral is very important. And something I've touched on before, as people know, if they've ever tuned in before, is my grievances with internet companies. Internet companies claim to be providing a service. When you're sitting indoors and you're being bombarded with these adverts during the day, and you think, yes, that's what I think I'd like for myself. I have a couple of opinions on this, but I'm going to start on the first opinion. You've decided, yes, let's go down that route. They're obviously not saying in the advert that your loved one's being kept in a storage unit in an industrial park. They're not saying that you're loaded onto a van with 8 people and then dropped off, and it is a drop-off. Let me reassure you this. Dropped off to a crematorium somewhere in the country. They should be telling you that. They're obviously not telling you, and I'm going to have people come to me on social media now I'm saying this, and say, well, you're just upset because they're cheaper than you, they're more cost. No, they're not actually. We're not losing out on any funerals that we look after, any families for funerals that we look after. We're actually, as a company, more cost effective. And that's not hiding anything. That's a true fact of price. So these companies you're seeing on TV every day, we are more cost effective than they are for that direct cremation service. Let me go back to where your loved one is. So when someone passes away and you come in and arrange a direct cremation with ourselves, we collect them, we bring them back to our chapel of rest, they're with us until the day of the funeral, and the day of the funeral we take them to the crematorium at 8 o'clock in the morning to one of our local crematoriums. That's our practice. Now, these other companies, these internet companies, what they are doing is either leaving your loved one in a hospital mortuary until a few days, 2 days before they plan to do the cremation, which this is inside sort of knowledge. Again, knowledge is key, which is clogging up the hospital system. They're not collecting your loved one. I think someone should be collected straight away, as soon as they're able to, as soon as the funeral directors are able to. Now, I don't think that's fair and good practice. Are you being explained that when you see this lovely advert on TV every day, every 5 minutes? Because that's what's happening. I believe people are being brainwashed. Now listen, I'm going to be completely honest with you. We're in South East London, W. Uden & Sons. We're not really affected by the internet market. We're really not. Maybe one day we will. But I want to expose these things because I know that there's good practices, good businesses out there who are struggling because families they're not being told the truth. Another thing what I really do want to get a point across, and it might be its own podcast, but my own beliefs, and I say these are how I feel, my own beliefs on this, is people need to think really carefully when organising a direct cremation. Because I'll use his name, Jeremy Clarkson. He wrote an editorial in a newspaper not so long ago, maybe a year or two ago, and said, I've heard about this direct cremation, I'm going to have that, and at least my family can then go on holiday and go and have some fun. That's what I want. My friend sent me this article, and my reply was, what's it got to do with him? Now, let me tell you why I say this, and this might cause a bit of stir on social media in comments, but what has it got to do with him? He's passed away. It's about the people who's left behind. They're the people who are grieving. They're the people who have to mentally cope with that person no longer being there. Now, if a family have a discussion and they all decide, yeah, do you know what we're going to do is we're going to have a memorial service afterwards, or we're going to go on holiday, we're going to use that money, let's just say our funeral cost is for a cremation with a limousine is around £5,000. That's for the cremation service, the minister's fee, all of our fees. That's how much we are. I've got nothing to hide. But that's how much that costs. So you use that £5,000 and you go on holiday. Fantastic. But is anyone thinking about the longer term mental health issues that might cause? Why do people have a funeral? They have a funeral because it's part of a grieving process. So when people say, yeah, I'm going to do that, that's nice, what's the point in a funeral anyway? The point is it's a grieving process. That's why. And again, I'm going to go back to, we're not being affected by this. As W. Uden and Sons, we are in a very traditional part of England, London, if not the world, over here in South East London, and we're proud of that. But this may cause issues in the future. I genuinely believe that. So going back to Jeremy Clarkson, yeah, he said that's exactly what I'm going to have. And I go back and say, what's it got to do with him? Because the person's gone. So that might be a choice what's made. I wonder how many people regret having and doing that. I wonder. And maybe in the comments, if people have done it and have any regrets, maybe say. Maybe if it's worked for you, please comment, because I'm not saying it's right or wrong. We provide that service, but what we do when we provide that service is we do give families knowledge. Are they prepared for this? We would never try and turn anyone's opinion on what they're going to do, but people need to be very careful, and that's what I believe, and I'm sure others would agree. Look, what I need to do right now, what I want to do, I want to expose internet companies. Why do I want to? I don't understand why it's not being spoken of. Why isn't there a panorama program asking? Do you know they're not part of any association of funeral directors? They are simply an internet company. They're a website. So you and I can start a website tomorrow and do exactly the same. They're not a funeral directors. They claim to be a funeral directors and they're not. They haven't got facilities. They keep your loved one in a unit, in a storage unit, in an industrial park. They leave your loved one in mortuaries, hospital mortuaries. Funeral directors, what are you doing? They can't exist if you don't help them. So if you're a funeral director and you're benefiting from using and helping out these internet companies, you're ending your own businesses. That's what you're doing right here. Stop helping internet companies. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to trade. So I get told all the time that funeral directors are struggling because of these internet companies, because they're providing a service what isn't even a service. It's a drop-off with 8 other people every day. I don't know what it is. You funeral directors are mad. Why are you helping them? Stop helping them. I want to end this podcast and on the point of the reason I'm talking like this, the reason I'm saying these things is, as I said, knowledge is key. And the reason I want to give knowledge is because I care. Our family business, we care. We care for families. Everything we do here at Udens is gunned for the family. Do we make mistakes? Of course we do. But if you care, you can't go too far wrong. And you can pick up the phone and speak to a Mr. Uden any day of the week, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You can't pick up the phone and speak to an internet company. You can't ask them anything. You can email them. I'm talking the truth. I'm telling you, I'm exposing, if that's exposing, because I hope people come away from listening to this and say, I didn't know that. And this word needs to get louder and louder and louder. Not because they're a threat to us, because they are not. They are simply not a threat to us. I just think that someone needs to say it, and I'm going to say it. So please remember, we care, I care, and knowledge is key.